concept of games with a cinematic touch isn't exactly anything new. Some developers have been chasing the dream of presenting their products as interactive movies for years, with varying levels of success. These days, however, the technology is there to really make this dream more of a reality. But just because a game can properly emulate the storytelling and tension of a movie doesn't automatically make it great. Sony's new beat-em-up, Rise to Honor, may have the flashy action and storytelling that you'd expect from a martial arts flick, but unfortunately, the gameplay doesn't really hold up its end of the bargain. Jet Li's polygonal likeness plays the main character here, an undercover cop named Kit Yoon. Kit has infiltrated a Hong Kong crime family and begins the game in charge of protecting the leader of the syndicate, Boss Chang. Without spoiling too much of the story, you're eventually put on a path to San Francisco to find Chang's daughter. But there are forces out there who want to prevent you from reaching your goal, and you'll have to do a lot of fighting and shooting to complete your mission. Fighting and shooting are the two types of scenarios you'll encounter in Rise to Honor. Most of the game is focused on hand-to-hand combat, usually pitting you against several foes at the same time. You'll move around with the left analog stick and attack by pushing the right analog stick in the direction of your opponent. Constant tapping will execute combos, and you can tap in different directions to attack multiple foes with one combo. In addition to that, you can block attacks, counter attacks, and pull off slow-motion combos with more impressive attacks by spending some of the juice on your adrenaline meter. The combat works well, handling the multiple attackers thing without resorting to any sort of lock-on, but even with breakable environments and some objects that can be used as weapons, it really gets old fast. The other main gameplay type in Rise to Honor is shooting. Here, Kit will be armed with a weapon and given a limitless supply of ammunition. The R2 button is your fire button, and the right analog stick is now used to lock onto your enemies, which is required before you can shoot. You also make use of cover, hiding as your enemies try to gun you down. However, the cover system isn't so fluid, forcing you to come all the way out of hiding to lock onto a target or to fire your weapon. A mechanic to either fire from behind cover, or even better, one that lets you pop out, take a few shots, and pop back behind cover almost automatically, really would have made this gameplay feel smoother. Other recent games have done this better, so it really does stick out here. Additionally, some of the cover in the game is pretty insane. The concept of hiding behind a plastic garbage can and that can somehow taking 40 rounds from a machine gun without any of them making their way through to the back of Jet Li's head is a little crazy. Though the game doesn't really strive for realism, so that's not exactly a big deal. The rest of Rise to Honor consists of cutscenes and lots of them. While they are well done, unfortunately most of the game's real action takes place in these cutscenes. In one instance, you only get to control Jet Li as he runs away from a helicopter. But when he finds a pair of Uzis and shoots that helicopter out of the sky, your PlayStation 2 is behind the wheel. This happens more often than you'd really like, and really makes you think that the game part of Rise to Honor would have been a lot better if you were able to control any of the game's heavier action scenes. With cutscenes being so important, it's nice that Rise to Honor looks so great. Everything from camera placement to animation gives off the appearance of a Hong Kong-style action movie, and the character models are all pretty good. Though you won't find Rise to Honor to be the best-looking game on the system, it does have an impressive look to it. The game also does a good job of providing a seamless experience. The game autosaves your progress in the background, and the in-engine cutscenes fade from one to the next without you ever being stuck waiting at a loading screen. In addition to all this, the game also has widescreen and 480p support for HD TV owners. In the sound department, Rise to Honor does a good job. The game's dialogue is fully spoken, and you're given 2 speech options. The game will always be in English when you're in San Francisco, but you can choose to hear either English or Cantonese during the Hong Kong sequences. Most of the game's speech is done well, though there are some clunky lines here and there that sound a little hokey. The game's ambient sound and music do a good job at setting the tone of the game, and the sounds of combat are as you would expect. Rise to Honor is the sort of game that casual players, or people who don't normally play games at all, will find quite attractive. It's very simple, and the cinematic aspects of its presentation are pretty impressive. However, as a game, it's a short, overly simple endeavor that you can expect to finish within a day. It's worth renting and messing around with, but doesn't really have enough longevity to warrant a purchase. For the full text review, be sure to check the GameSpace.